All right, here she is, new baby and all. Back for the third time on the Dealer Playbook podcast. Elise, man, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Michael. Always a good time.
Number 3. This is like getting old for you. It's like, I'm a guest again on the Dealer Playbook.
That's exciting, though. That puts a smile on my face. So thank you.
Hey, you know what? And the audience loves what you have to say. So I'm excited to dive into this with you today. You know, I've got your website here in front of me. Oh, really nice looking website, by the way.
I wonder who did that completely for me, because I have no idea about websites.
There you go. So the main headline, sell more cars by handling the phones like a boss. But I think that's what everybody's expecting we're going to talk about, and maybe we'll dive into the phones here a little bit later on in the show. But I want to actually talk to you about something that you're also known for. I mean, starting out in your career, becoming the YouTubeDiva, you know, traveling around speaking at shows, talking to people about the importance of video. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people in the industry going, okay, video. And for you and I, we go, it's 2016, of course, do video.
Right.
But I want to turn this over to you. For the individual that's going, okay, I know I need to do video. I know it's 2016. Michael, get off my back.
Right.
What should they be doing to get started? And what types of videos should they be doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, to get started, the thing that I've kind of tweaked even myself personally over the years is, you know, a lot of people go, oh, you're not afraid of the camera and this and that. And honestly, I mean, this is, we're obviously doing this somewhat live, but a lot of my videos that I've put out there before, videos when I do video email, I mean, my husband sometimes catches me doing it all the time. I'm like, saying my thing, and then I mess up, have to hit re-record. You know, everything that you see on camera maybe took one, you know, more than one take, essentially. I think so many people are focused on having it being perfected. It has to be, you know, perfect or super professional, or I have to be, I shoot videos sometimes for salespeople at dealerships or BDC representatives at dealerships, or I coach them on it. And they're like, oh, no, today's not a good day. I mean, my hair and my shirt's not the right shirt. And while there is obviously that is a good thing to want to be your best on camera, a lot of times what people read off of when they're watching your videos is the fact that you're real. Like right now, before the show, Michael, even I was like, I don't know, because I just had a newborn and I'm not wearing any makeup and I'm in jeans and a t-shirt. I don't know if this is going to work. And I'm doing it because it's when people watch a video, just get started and realize that you're a human being and you as an individual is unique. And that's essentially what when people watch your video are buying. They're buying you. Yeah. You know, so there should be no, you know, it's just people get so caught up on having it being perfect that
and it's weird because I think everybody would say, oh, I know nobody's perfect. Like we throw these phrases around all the time in regular conversation, but then when it comes to presenting ourselves, we expect that it's going to be perfect. It's like, you know, for me, I totally get that. I actually talked myself back in the day. I talked myself out of doing video for 6 months. I knew it was important, but I kept talking myself out of it because it was around the time of my life where I had just committed to showing the chrome dome. You know, my kids were like, hey, Dad, why does your hair part in a circle? And that's when I knew that I had to. But I talked myself out of it because I didn't think that the way I looked or presented myself would be pleasing to an audience. And so I can imagine some people feel that way. You know, I eventually just arrived at a place where I was like, this is what you get, man. I can't make myself look any more perfect or better or whatever. This is who I am. Be comfortable with that. So you're saying it is what it is. It is what it is.
You know, and maybe it's going to, I mean, we could probably go deep into the there's my newborn. We could probably go deep into the psychology of, you know, I think people getting a little self-conscious. It's that fear of the video, that fear of the camera.
Yeah.
And when it comes to that, I would think that it's probably easier for a lot of people today now than it was even 4, 5, 6 years ago, because all these apps and all these technology pieces that are online, like Snapchat and Facebook Live, and the ability that like everybody has a camera and a video on their phone.
Yeah.
It's things like that in everyday life happen more often than back in the old days, like 7 years ago before the iPhone or whenever it came out.
Right.
You had to get your flip cam or like your special camera with the card. You know, it made it a lot less.
So what did you do to become more confident on camera?
I
just did it.
I just did it. I mean, you know, for me, I think I've shared this before. Like for me as an individual, like even when I backflash to when I was a kid, like I've always been into video cameras, and I think when I was like 13, I wanted to be like a radio DJ and things like that. So that's always been just kind of something wired in my DNA that I've been interested in. But nonetheless, like I said, there still were times, especially when I got into the car business and I was selling Hondas, and I remember I got hired as the internet sales manager there, got no training whatsoever. And I remember sitting there in like my first little cubicle office and like, okay, how can I get customers to respond to me? Like, well, I'm going to look at what other dealerships are doing. I'm like, okay, I'm reading this and maybe I'm just a perfectionist and I'm not impressed by this email. But then it kind of clicked and I said, hey, I'm going to take like it was this old school Canon video camera. Like literally when you see, like it's like 480 by 640, you know, dimension, because it was so old.
It was like $8,000. Yeah, back in the day. Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to take this and I'm going to start making video email. So when the and then just from that, like that was kind of, you know, I knew it was going to be uncomfortable, but I guess at the same time, realizing the benefits of it, I was like, it's like, why not? You know,
sure.
It's why would you refuse to do something that is going to bring you more business? That's going to set yourself apart. And
you weren't afraid to like salt and pepper your videos with a little bit of creativity, right? Like you got the you got the Timberlake in there, and you got other Sarah Silverman, I think, is in one of them or something like that.
Yeah. Well, in the very beginning, I mean, when you go back to the very first video emails that I was doing when I was selling Hondas, there's like, I was really into the show Glee back then, and I think that was like one of the background musics, like a Glee song that they had done on that TV show. So it's but now I mean, even now when I send video emails to dealer clients or when I'm doing video training like over Skype or something of that nature, especially with a newborn, like there's going to be mornings where I don't have the extra hour and a half to get primed up. Like for you, you're a dude. Like, and
I seriously rolled out of bed and I took a shower and that was it.
Exactly. My husband goes to work. Like he woke up the other day. He's like, oh, I got to go. He got ready in like 5 minutes. I'm like, do you know what would happen? Like there is no woman on the world that can get ready in 5 minutes. Like, and so I was thinking about, like, man, women like have a disadvantage when it comes to the amount of time in a day and what it takes to actually like, because if you really want to, if you want to, you know, get ready, it's like an hour and a half of getting ready that like guys don't have to work.
I don't even want to do the math over like the course of a year on that, because that's just frightening to me. But you know, I mean, good point. So you've mentioned something here though. You know, obviously I've looked at a ton of your videos since we've known each other. I've seen the YouTube channel. I've seen that creativity. You know, there's the follow-up video, but you've mentioned just in the conversation here a couple of times, you said video email. What are you talking about when you say video email? So is that just a follow-up video, or what do you mean by that?
So what I mean, and there's a lot of you know, even if I would say now it's become more of a topic that people talk about, video email, rather than whoever your audience is. So if you're selling cars, your customer that inquired about a Honda Civic, rather than just reading an email with, you know, 5 paragraphs long, and they're probably not going to read it anyway because it's on their smartphone. Rather than words, the bulk of your email is an actual video that they play. And in that video is yourself, you know, it could be your manager. It's made to be a one-on-one communication. So when they watch it, they're seeing you, basically. And
okay, so it's something unique.
Right. So, yeah. And it essentially replaces the words, and it builds that connection, right? Because video, as we all know, like it replaces, it can replace words on a screen, and the customer can see you, they can hear you, right? So you have all these you know, you can use body language, and you can use your tone, and you have all your vocal strengths and everything that you can use when you make a video, and you have the visual. So it becomes more of a much more of a personal communication than just words on a screen. Because when everybody reads words on a screen, you know, there's a lot of times where the words can be misconstrued. You read it the wrong way. You don't have the benefits of body language and tone, inflection, and so forth.
Well, especially when you see some of the emails that come from, you know, dealerships that I've observed, like the all caps email.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Where the client's sitting there going like, why is he so mad at me? I just...
well, here's a simple trick. This totally grinds my gears whenever I mystery shop other dealers. So I hope this is nobody listening.
This is the rant session here for a second. Yeah, go ahead.
Share this. So the customer might go on like a lead source provider and fill out their information, and the customer might be in caps lock. So they might put Michael Cirillo, 2018 Honda Pilot, whatever. And so when the lead goes into the CRM, the name comes back, Michael Cirillo, all in caps, right? So then when an autoresponder goes out, or a template that you send goes out, it usually fills that hi customer first name, right? Yeah. But it pulls the exact punctuation of how the lead came in. It's 2 seconds. Please, 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 if the name is in caps or the vehicle isn't spelt right that they inquire about, fix it. Because when you send out that, even if it's not an autoresponder, it's a template that you just drop and send. If you don't check that, like, it's a dead giveaway. That
especially for millennials, because we pay attention to these types of things.
Yeah. Oh,
like I mean, I have met more millennial grammar Nazis than any other generation that I have been associated with.
That's just an easy fix, and that's so that just please fix.
I sense the frustration.
It's insane. Well, because it's going into the video thing again. It's that impression that you're setting off. If your email looks like it's canned, like that to me is just, this person didn't have didn't care about the effort. Doesn't is just. I mean, is this a computer that's talking to me, or is this like there's no personalization versus you take it, okay, you fixed your spelling errors. That's the first step above all this.
Yeah. Sure.
But then you top it off with like, hey, an actual video email, where the customer can see who you are, they can hear you, and they go, oh, wow, it's kind of a step backward, like, oh, like this, I've never gotten a video email before. Like, I sent a video email to my tax guy. He's like, whoa, I've never seen that. That's like, so
you just use it for everybody.
Yeah, I do. Well, another reason for that too, I can talk much faster. I'm a pretty, I'm not like, but I think a lot of us type pretty fast, but nonetheless, typing still takes longer than speaking for me.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's
So I mean, is there a place that this video email fits into the process? Like, I mean, when it comes to phone scripts, when it comes to nurturing a lead, like where are you placing a video email? And I guess more importantly, what are some of the things you're saying in this email? Are there scripts? Are there certain things you should shy away from and certain things that you should be doing? I mean, can you give us a sense of...
No, I actually have a free guide that I give away, and it's basically a quote-unquote script guide for the automotive professional, and it breaks it down into different ways that you can use video email in your position with whatever you're doing. And I recommend that when I watch a lot of video emails that are out there, a lot of them have the flaw of they're either too generic, meaning a lot of people go, oh, I send a nice introductory video of myself. Well, that's nice. That's peachy and dandy, but there's no call to action on that video, saying like, hey, my name's Elise and I work in the BDC and I just want to introduce myself and let you know how I can help. Like, that's nice and pretty, but you need to have a purpose of when the customer watches that, what are they expecting? So tweaking it a little bit like, hey, my name's Elise. I work here at ABC Honda. I just left you a voicemail, wasn't able to reach you on the phone. Ring me back today when you have a moment. Just wanted to send this so you can put a face with the name. Number here is below, and I'm going to follow up with you a little bit later today if I don't hear back. Like that's more, that tightens up your video email a little bit, so it's not just this video email that goes out, but it's going side by side with your phone call process and any additional emails that you might be sending.
What do you? I mean, this sounds like it takes time. What do you say to the individual that's like, oh yeah, that's the reason why I haven't done video yet, because now I'm just spending my whole day making videos for people?
It's okay. That's a great question. So first off, the resources that you have to do video email, again, are at literally like your fingertips now. Than it was a little bit more complex 6 or 7 years ago when I started doing this, because you would have to go to Best Buy to get a camera, and so forth. Mm-hmm. I also have another guide on kind of the video email tools that I recommend, but something as simple as a webcam on your computer, like you and I have, that's what I'm using now. You can use your smartphone. And let me just side note this. Officially, there is nobody personally that I know that does not have a smartphone now in 2016. It used to be like my grandparents, well, not everybody has. Yeah. But my grandparents still have, but now all my grandparents, like one of my grandmas has an iPhone 6, so there's like no excuse not to have a smartphone now. It's just a matter of, now you have the smartphone, there's a camera on here, and you can do your video email that way. So as far as the tools, like that's really easy to get set up. As far as what you're, should I send a video email to every customer? That's going to take forever. Well, again, going back to the concept of, you need to know what kind of video emails you're sending out. Mm-hmm. And you also need to, it typically takes a shorter time period with a video email than to write. And you want to keep your video email usually like 30, 45 seconds, under a minute, right? Because when someone watches it, you don't want it to be too lengthy and too long.
Right.
But as far as, there's some dealers that are, well, my guys get 1,000 leads. Like, it might be a business development center. My guys get 1,000 leads. There's no way they're going to be able to send 1,000 video emails. As kind of a backup plan, what I recommend is, again, knowing the purpose of your video emails and kind of creating these buckets. They're generic, but they're not too generic. So what I mean by that is you can kind of narrow down your video emails for whatever process you're going to be utilizing it in your follow-up. So it could be like, hey, good morning, I just left you a voicemail. I'm not acknowledging you by name, but I might say, hey, good morning, it's Elise here, just left you a voicemail. Acknowledging the time of day. Or, hey, good morning, my name's Elise, I work here at ABC Motors. Thanks so much for your online request for information on the new Honda Civic. Like, you can get it down to like what you're saying is the time of day, whatever you're doing, and the type of car. So when I was selling cars, I had like what I called buckets. I had about 50 pre-made video emails, but I didn't want to take away of that personalization. That's why I wasn't going so broad and just saying, hey, my name's Elise, just wanted to send an introduction video. But I was narrowing it down, like I said, to the type of car, even the type of lead source. Hey, thanks for inquiring through USAA. Hope you're having a great morning so far. So, I would get it down into so specific that, and I'd put all the work in first, record them all, put them in my CRM. So they weren't like videos where you just like pre-recorded the audio difference so that it was like, hey, thank you so much for inquiring about USA today. I just recorded them all, put them, they were each recorded them all. Yeah. Put them into my CRM. And this is back when I was using YouTube too. So keep in mind, the downside to that is YouTube shows the upload date. So YouTube sees it was January of 2016. Well, it's now August. And I don't think a lot of people necessarily paid attention to that, but that was one of those things that always kind of got at me. I was like, I hope they don't see the upload date. But now that it's, 2016, I've actually, for quite a while now, I use a video email software program where it's not hosted on YouTube. It's hosted on a different type of platform so that they don't see the upload date. They don't see the view counts. You can actually, it's almost like a landing page that sent to their email.
Sure.
So you can personal brand your dealership, and it's just a lot more cleaner than someone watching YouTube where they might see the upload date, the view count. Oh, and then your competitor's video, over to the side panel. So, as far as getting started though, it's to say that it's time consuming. There's ways to work around that. Definitely. It's a lot more easier because you don't have to get super fancy equipment. You probably already have it at your work or right from this bad boy right here. And then secondly, realizing, hey, how fast do I type and can I get a message across in 45 seconds in a quick video email to every customer that I'm following up with? And then third, if you are handling a bulk amount of leads, creating buckets for yourself so that you have kind of a pre-made video email for, the different type of lead source, the time of day, the different type of car, and so forth, that you could just drop and send. I mean, if you're right now dropping and sending certain email templates from your CRM already, it's no different from that. It's lightning fast, essentially. So.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, we are going to talk to Elise about whether or not video has killed the phone. Stay tuned. So this is where we do a quick commercial break in the new season.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I decided, you know what? I'm 110 episodes into this show. I'm going to start freaking talking about Flex Dealer, and if you don't like it, go piss off.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so that we're going to do like a little 15-second spot here.
And you just got to, I think you should. I think that's good.
Well, up until now, it's always been, my agency. Hey, good timing. Because,
yeah.
It's always my agency. But now I'm just like, you know what? Screw this. You don't see Gary Vee not talking about VaynerMedia all the time.
Oh, yeah. You have the dealer playbook, and it's like,
dude, 100. Yeah, I've invested 3 years of my life into this show.
Yeah.
I'm going to start talking about Flex.
Yeah.
Especially you consider we've had over, we're fast approaching 1 million downloads now. And ever since Robert hasn't been on the show, people have actually started engaging. And I'm not saying that's because of him or not, but I wake up now to emails upon emails, Facebook messages, messengers of people from Ireland and South Africa, and they're like, "Man, we listen to every show twice, and and we love the direction you're going in the show." And colleagues have reached out and they're like, "Man, the shows just flow so much nicer now." The co-host thing is kind of a hard.
I think. I was gonna say I think it has a new vibe to it, even with when the first one that you did with even the new music and everything, it just has a different.
I just wanted to, and that's why we're doing video. I just wanted to take the show to a new level. It's not about, Robert was very much about no, man, we got the best show in the industry. Why change it? And for me, it's not about changing. It's about pushing pushing my expectations of it. The video side of it is not easy to do. It's now transferring files to the VA and making sure things line up and training somebody else how to edit video and all these sorts of things. But you look at our interaction on YouTube just in what I would call season 5, which started with the Grant Cardone episode that I did in Vegas up till the last one, which is going to air today actually. The engagement on YouTube, people outside the industry are like, "Holy crap, that interview you did with Molly from Digital Marketer, just works so well for our business as well." Or so it's, for me, it's just pushing the envelope. Who doesn't like watching video? And so now I have 2 outlets, there's the audio version for people that want to listen on their way to work or whatever. But there's, like the Gary V episodes, it's been a couple of months and it has like almost 16,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah.
And, so anyways.
Yeah.
Here we go.
It's solid. Dig it.
No, well, now that people are starting to engage, I'm like, okay, I got to start really pounding this thing and see where else I can go with it. But if people are watching, then I'm, by George, I am mentioning where I work.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, here we go. We're back, and I want this question answered because we've been talking a lot about video. But you are the phone we're going to start that over. I almost said you are the phone ninja. Good thing we're not live. Okay, we're back. And I have got to get this question answered. I know a lot of people are probably wondering, okay, Elise, you've been talking a lot about video here, but we typically know you as the phone master, the phone script guru. We follow your scripts. We've downloaded your scripts. We use them. They work. Has video killed the phone?
It's been an enhancer, I would say, and here's why. Especially when it comes to follow-up, right, making the outbound calls. Mm-hmm. Video, the truth is, like, when it comes to the phone, this still is going to be your best communication tool, a live conversation.
Yep.
But the fact that people don't like to talk to car salespeople on the phone, that's just a given. I mean,
right.
The minute you mention ABC Motors, they're like, okay, it's not on my priority list. In fact, maybe I'll respond over email. Like, if I were to go on the street and interview just the average consumer, most people don't want to talk to a car salesperson. So picking up the phone or getting someone to call you back is very difficult. So what video does, like I said, is an enhancer to that, right? It's dropping that barrier of, I'm not a scary car salesperson, or even, even if I might fit the prototype of a car salesperson, and I'm more of what they might call a veteran, right? Selling cars for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
You're a person. Like, they're seeing the video as a way to drop to drop the barrier of having a preconceived notion of who's on the other end of that phone call.
Sure.
And it's and when you guide your your video as a reason, right, to get them on the phone, then it's like by the time you do get them on the phone, they're not visualizing some random, blind date like car salesperson on who's on them, because they've seen your video already. So it's
they start to grow an affinity for you, and it's that face behind the voice on the phone message.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for those listening or watching, we're not saying here that stop using the phone and only go video.
Right.
What you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you're saying, no, you've got to be working the phones. That's your primary communication
that
piece.
Is your primary communication. And the reason why is because, especially when it comes to the car business, all those objections you're going to get. And you might you might get those objections in an email already, like, well, hey, I just want to know your best price, or whatever question it might be, or can you tell me what the lease payments are, or do you have this exact vehicle? This is exactly what I want. You're getting objections constantly, maybe in an email that they might respond to. And it's instinctual, I know, for you to want to be pen pals and kind of like write back. But your email or the video that you do should be guided towards a live phone call, because if they, on a live phone call, when they ask that question, well, hey, I just wanted your best price. There's ways to if you've studied the phone, right, and you've studied your scripts and your objection handling, and you know how to answer that question.
Yeah,
it's a lot more powerful over a live conversation than over an email. Because with an email or even a text message, for that sake, like, the person doesn't have to respond.
Sure.
You write maybe your objection handling technique or your ways to overcome best price in an email. They're going to read it, and if they don't like what they hear, like, they don't have to respond and they might move on. Versus a phone call, it's not like you're not going to say what you got to say and then the customer's going to hang up on you. When you're on the phone, it's almost like I like to compare it to a chess game. Like, if you can pre-plan and you essentially know what the customer is going to say, then it's a live phone call, and you can probably take that live phone call to the ultimate goal, which is an appointment.
Sure.
So
would your process then be, okay, email comes in from the client, questions, is it phone call first acknowledgement, or is it video email acknowledgement? Hey, I got your email. I'm going to put together some information and expect a phone call from me later on, or is it
typically? Typically I'm gonna use the phone first.
Okay.
And because if I can get that customer by chance, they pick up their phone call first time around for me, and it saves a lot of the I take them off kind of the follow-up reel, because I have what I want, or one step closer to what I want, which is a phone call to an appointment. Then I'm going to send a video email out, essentially guiding that video email towards, hey, I just tried to reach you on the phone, and
it's the follow-up to the follow-up.
Right. And then let's say they watched your video email, and they might go, oh, that was, I've never gotten a video email before. Hey, thanks for the response. Appreciate it. Now here comes the objections as them writing back. Just want to know what your best price was. Then you get it as the salesperson or the BDC rep, and I see it all the time. It's instinctual. Oh, yes, got a response. Cool. Yeah. Video worked. Dear Michael, would love to help you. And then they start writing their best price. I don't know why I held this up. I had to show them the keyboard. Just getting excited here. Then it's instinctual for the BDC rep to write their response out. But really, once you get that engagement, pick up the phone on your voicemail. Hey, Michael, just got your email. Wanted to help you out with the questions that you had in regards to pricing and so forth. Again, call me back. My number is blah, blah, blah. I'll follow up with you a little bit later to make sure we connect. And then the email should be, hey, Michael, just left you a quick phone call. Ring me back when you have a minute. Unless it's a straight up battleground and hell or high water, you only can communicate over email, then that may be the situation. But even nonetheless, when it comes to the infamous best price question, if you have to give a best price over an email, don't let it be words. 110%, use your video email to explain your pricing, explain your value proposition.
Sure.
That video is going to be probably longer than a minute, but then that requires a little bit more training and a little bit more work to be able to get your point across when it comes to best price, or your pitch, essentially, in a minute and a half, 2 minutes. And that's kind of the advanced, using things like ScreenFlow to show maybe the Kelley Blue Book website,
Sure.
trade in on their car and so forth. Or
you're adding a layer of transparency to the mix here that I think people, especially especially millennials, and I don't want to keep, don't get the wrong idea here. I don't think, the differences between millennials and other generations is that far different, except for some minor things like we love this upfront transparency.
Yeah.
And so, as we focus on this up-and-coming generation who's going to be the primary car buyer for quite a few years, I love where this is going because, it's adding the transparency where it needs to be added.
Right.
So that's a really positive thing about what you're saying here, using video and phone together as two tools to get deeper or have a relationship of trust and transparency built with a consumer before perhaps they even show up to meet you in person.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what? I could go on for days. So what I want to do here, I just want to ask you, okay, so there are specific tools that you're using. You've mentioned the guide. You've mentioned actually a couple of scripts and guides that are available on your website, which we're going to link to in the show notes at www.thedealerplaybook.com. But there's also a specific video follow-up tool that you are, using quite regularly that you've kind of really vetted. I know a lot of people are probably going, okay, well, what is it? So I just want to turn it over to you and maybe tell us what it is, and we'll link to it in the show notes as well.
Yeah, it's called it's a software program called BombBomb Video Email.
Like BOMB, not BUM. Yeah, okay, cool. It's not BombBomb.
Dropping bombs,
right, dropping the dummies. Right.
So it's I and what's crazy about the company is it's not, they're not really car people, like, you know, which is typically the audience that listens to the show. I found them, I think, because I was on Google one night late pulling like a Jerry Maguire, you know, and I just searched video email, topics about video email, and I found this company. And they really focus like in real estate and the medical field. Like more people, believe it or not, outside of the car business use video email. So that's how I found them. And what makes it unique again is when you it's instant, smartphone, webcam, iPad, whatever. If it's pre-uploaded on your computer, if it's from your gallery already on your camera, like all the ways that you can make video, you can use this platform. And if you want to just do a quick record, plus, like I was talking about earlier, it's not on YouTube. You do have the ability, if you want a YouTube video as your video email, to pull it, but because it's not on YouTube, when the customer watches it, it's branded, you know, to your company, essentially. You can do call to actions, put your contact information. And then on top of that, this is the only video email company that I've seen able to do this. Normally, like, there's other video email programs out there that you get a video email, it's a freeze frame with like a play icon watermarked over it. And it's just a freeze frame that's hyperlinked to maybe even a YouTube video or another platform. BombBomb, and it just, again, first impression to the customer when it comes in your inbox. It's mobile responsive because you're probably reading the email on your mobile anyways. But instead of a freeze frame, it's a GIF or a GIF. It's a moving image. So it plays actually the first like 3 seconds in rotation of your video. So when you open up your inbox, you normally don't see moving images in your inbox.
It's kind of this cue that there's something more there.
And then it has the play watermark, and it says, you know, play, and it receives a lot more call to action.
That's cool.
Just again because of the presentation and so forth. And then when they click on that, then it takes them to their video email page with your branding over it. They watch the video. It doesn't show an upload date. It doesn't show a view count. It doesn't go to YouTube where there's another, you know, people are going to get click happy and start clicking other videos. And it's a lot of times when I talk about this, I go, you know, for the first few years that I was doing video email, and Robert and I would always talk about this, is, you know, the YouTubeDiva, all my video emails were hosted on YouTube. So, and to, you know, as a learning experience for me, I used to do it that way, you know, using YouTube as a way for video email, and now I do it this way, and it's created better results, whether I was selling cars, whether I show it to, you know, other dealers who utilize the product, or when I use it in my own business.
Sweet. So we're definitely going to link you up in the show notes with where you can get more information about BombBomb specifically. We'll also link you up to Elise Kephart's website where you can get more information on that. Elise, always a pleasure. I'm super pumped that you took time out of your busy mama. I mean, this is a busy woman right here. So I'm grateful for that. Super pumped to have you on the show today. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you.